doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, you're listening to the People's Weekly on peoplesradiounited.com. I'm Tim Best Buzz. I'm here with Steve Shagwell and Canadian Glenn. How you guys doing today?
Good day.
Good day. I'm doing all right. Things are a little crazy over in my neck of the woods right now, as you've probably seen in the news.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. Well, first of all, Erica Gardner is in the hospital. That's Eric Gardner's daughter. For anyone who may not know, she had a she had a asthma attack that led to a heart attack, and now they're saying she has some kind of brain damage, and she's sitting in the hospital in a coma. And there was there was an incident where the police wouldn't let her friends and family get to her to see her. It's this whole big ordeal going on over there right now, and it's extremely worrisome to a lot of people because she's a warrior and we don't want to lose her. Is there any new news on that? Like, I just literally got home before we started. That's why we're late. We're always late, but this is why we're late today.
Well, I'm looking right now because
Well, I think yesterday already it was pretty clear. Unfortunately, she was taken out of a coma and declared to be brain dead. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of good news, unfortunately. This is a huge loss.
Yeah.
Well, somebody, I know people might not like him, but I believe it was Sean King. Let me see if I could find when and what he said, because he seemed to say he contradicted that. This was yesterday. I visited the hospital to see Erica Gardner and family. She has not passed away. She does have limited brain function, but doctors say they see some activity. Her condition is no doubt critical, but the family was encouraged this afternoon do not write her obituary.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a tweet that was retweeted on her timeline, whoever's handling that, that the Garner family has asked for everyone to stop saying rest in peace because Erica is very much still alive and holding on. So that's good news.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm concerned because I saw some tweets where the New York PD chased everybody, including her family who had visitors passes away from her bed, and given the situation there with what the cops did to her dad and what an outspoken advocate she's been, I got very concerned right at that point. I'm like, okay, why do the police want to be alone with her?
I know, why are the police even dealing with the situation like that? I mean, yeah. They should be, if anything, they should be out front protecting people that aren't supposed to be in there, maybe, like their buddies. The police are not, the police in this case are not anyone that's going to help the situation. I'm sure
right.
They don't have the most love for her, and they don't have her best interest at heart. By any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I was looking right now where we're saying that. Yeah, there's a lot of people spreading information that she's passed away, but I'm glad that's not the case. So I don't know if that's intentional misinformation being spread or people taking the brain damage thing to me.
It probably is. I mean, the Blue Lives Matter trolls have just I mean, after all this time, I still have moments where I think I've seen it all, and then these Blue Lives Matter trolls just fucking, man, it's just somehow still shock me with how low they'll go.
Yeah. I think Blue Lives Matter gives Westboro Baptist Church a good run for their money.
You know, yeah,
I don't know. They're two different kinds of wacky. That's the thing. They're both pretty disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll both go to any length. They can make anything connect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen some just disgusting behavior from them. And, you know, they'll respond with, well, you know, there's been some disgusting behavior from people who don't like police, derpy, 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 derp. You know, maybe that's true, but you're the ones who claim to be the fucking morally upright guardians of society, so fucking act like it, you know?
Too complex.
Yeah, these people are way out. So yeah, I mean, I was assuming at least some of it. I mean, some of it might have been people taking stuff the wrong way and generally trying to say, "Oh my God, this is bad." But I think, yeah, it's got to be some kind of trolls on there. There's always trolls. Whenever something like this happens, there's always these jackass trolls out there trying to spread misinfo and confuse people and just be stupid in general. Yeah, out by you right now, Steve, there was a swatting that led to a murder by police of an innocent victim, right?
Yeah, and
you knew the person, or you had a connection to them or something?
There is a blood connection or a familial connection that somebody who I know has with the victim.
Wow.
So it's you know, I'm just really bummed out to hear about this. We've gone for a while now with nothing really happening here in Wichita, you know, and that was very encouraging. And then this happened last night. I mean, a guy, and I'm having a bit of a hard time because, you know, there's the whole incident of a fake 911 call, which is actually how my police brutality incident started, with a fake 911 call. And, you know, so I'm a little rattled because, of course, it just kind of puts my mind back there a little bit. But, yeah, basically, these people were playing video games, and somebody said, "I'm going to SWAT you," and somebody said, "Yeah, go ahead, here's my address," and then he gave a fake address. The police went there, and, you know, this unarmed guy apparently saw party lights out his window, so he went to the door, and he was shot. And,
wow.
Yeah, and it's so illustrative of how incompetent some of these people in law enforcement are, you know, and it's really indicative of, well, somebody was pointing out, you know, I was looking through social media, one of the local activists was pointing out, the training requirements in order to give a pedicure are higher in Kansas than the training requirements to be a law enforcement officer. Now, I haven't, you know, seen what those pedicure requirements are with my own eyes, but I can tell you the training requirements here in Kansas are appallingly low. You know, and what little there is seems to be how to arrest people, how to inflict violence on people, you know. And so, I mean, I don't know anything about this officer. He may have showed up wanting to shoot somebody. He may have showed up not wanting to shoot somebody. It doesn't really matter, and that's a discussion that it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because he showed up and he shot an unarmed person who had nothing to do with this situation whatsoever. It shouldn't have happened. There's no reason for it. And when it's done, he's probably going to keep his job and maybe someday do it again. And I don't care how intentional or unintentional it is. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's always a dilemma for the Blue Lives Matter people when it's a white guy shot by the police. So I wonder how they're going to react to this one. They always back the police one way or another, but this guy was totally innocent. He just answered a door. He had nothing to do with the argument. He had nothing to do with giving the address out. Nothing to do with the swatting. He wasn't even a video gamer. He just was some guy whose address was given under false pretenses and opened a door and got murdered immediately.
And yeah, and you know that takes me to a point I really want to make here. First of all, cameras are getting really cheap, and everybody should have one in their home, and they should have one in their front yard, and they should have one in their backyard at the very minimum. And you should put, I mean, they're making these doorbell cameras now, and those aren't very expensive either. And they connect right to your smartphone. And you can see who's at the door, and you can talk to the person without opening the door. Even if, I mean, in this guy's case, of course, you know, it was the cops thought they were responding to a hostage scenario. Well, hopefully they wouldn't have gone barging in if they thought there was a hostage scenario. But, you know, don't answer your door for police. Just don't fucking do it. Get one of those cameras. If you can't afford that camera, just get a baby monitor and mount it to the wall, mount it to the door. You know, those are really cheap, but don't answer your door for police. I mean, this is not the first time somebody has answered their door having nothing to do with anything going on and been shot by police. Don't answer the door. The cop at the door may not be the kind of cop who shoots you, but that cop may be. And if he is, and even if he's done it before and shown he's that kind of cop, he's keeping his job. He's, you know.
There's two kinds of cops: those that will shoot you and those that will cover up for those that will shoot you.
You know, unfortunately, you are right. You know, I'm a big fan. You know me, Tim. I don't like to make blanket statements about people, except about Nazis. But you know, because they all have genocide in common. But the thing about it is you know, I say it all the time. You know, not every cop out there wants to fuck people up. You know, not every cop out there wants to shoot people. Not every cop out there is on a power trip. But you know, at the end of the day, they won't be found holding accountable the cops who are.
Yeah.
That part is a blanket statement you can definitely make to law enforcement, unfortunately.
Yeah, we were talking a little earlier just before the show when we were getting set up, and we were talking about people who call the police just like on their suicidal kids and the police come and kill them. You know, do not call the police for anything. There's no real reason to call the police. Unless, I mean, I don't know. It's even dangerous if someone's running around with a gun because they might just show up and shoot the first black dude they see there. Who knows? The police are insane. It's best if you can avoid it any other way. Do not call the police. But then you also got these people swatting, which is sending the police to somebody's house. That's pretty sick. So, I mean,
that's really sick, you know, and it's a losing proposition for everybody, you know. I mean, it's a losing proposition for the person in the house. It's a losing proposition for anyone else in the house. It's a losing proposition for the officers, because if you have a report that there's a hostage situation in a house, you're supposed to respond to that, you know, and that's a tricky situation. But, I mean, dude, for fuck's sake, man, I'll just say it. Like, American law enforcement is amateur hour. they're killing thousands of people. And you can go to countries like China and Russia, Iran, for fuck's sake. And they're not killing people like this. Their police aren't killing people like this. You know, they're not having this problem. And, I mean, part of it is the low standards of training. Part of it is that you've got veterans coming back from wars with PTSD and going right into law enforcement. Why the fuck is that happening? Okay, and you have this low training, right? These low training standards. With these low training standards, it's appalling enough that you're giving somebody a gun and a nightstick and mace, you know, a handgun and a nightstick and mace. But now, with this minimal training, we're giving them fucking assault rifles. You know? Like, and you know what makes me mad is I'm seeing outrage over this. You know, I've got, in my personal world, I've got friends who are actually mad about it, and I'm just so mad. I'm just like, I'm pissing people off. I'm saying, I'm just telling them, you know, you're not going to do anything about it except get pissed at football players for taking a knee. So shut the fuck up. You know?
Isn't that kind of what some of them are taking a knee for?
Yeah, but but that's not cool.
Well, let me ask you. Yeah, I know it's way out, because when a black person gets killed by the police, even someone like Philando Castile or the hundreds of other people that were unarmed and pretty much followed all instructions and still got shot, that they're thugs, they're criminals. There's always some reason that police is justified. When it's a white guy, it's like they have little hoops they got to jump through. They really got to try to figure out how to deal with it. And it's funny to watch them, even though it's sad somebody, you know, got shot, beaten, hurt, or killed by the police. It's funny to watch the Blue Lives Matter people just total hypocrisy on every one of these. There's such, oh my God, I don't even know. But yeah, so we know what it's like here. So Glenn, in Canada, the police show up at somebody's door. Are they terrified already, or is it a different situation?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, Steve, to you and family and friends, my condolences. This is as obvious and unnecessary death as you can possibly have.
Thank you. I do want to make clear I'm not a family member or anything of that. I didn't know this guy. I just know somebody who has familial ties to him.
Yeah. I mean, still, this is, you know, somebody in a community, somebody in a family who is dead because of stupidity. There's no other logical explanation, I think, but as far as what happens in Canada, well, I know people that have been swatted in the U.S. and in Canada. And the level of fear is no different. Cops are cops, especially on special weapons and tactics. That's what they're trained to do. They're trained to scare the fucking shit out of everybody they deal with. That's their job. Nobody that I know has been shot, who's been swatted. But, you know, these are different people from different backgrounds and stuff like that I'm speaking about. None of them are ever the same after this. So, I understand that as much as I care to. But what I wanted to say is, being not an American citizen, the way this looks to the rest of the world, I mean, I see so many failures in society for this to happen. First of all, it's an online game. Where did it become okay to threaten death? Because that's a 50-50 chance what you're doing when you say you're going to swat somebody. That's a whole nother issue. That's just how I think about it. And then you have throwing out an address without giving a flying fuck if anybody's there. Then you have the police who respond in this fashion, and there's a multitude of reasons for that. Training, budget, give a fuck, all kinds of things. And then you have the outrage of the society when it occurs. Well, are you really surprised? I mean, it's just like when you do risk assessment, they have what they call the pyramid. And at the bottom of the pyramid, if you have 10,000 unsafe acts, statistically you will have a death. That's the way construction looks at things.
Yeah.
And how is the online community or the neighborhood or anywhere else any different? The more normalized that risky, wanton behavior is okay, the more deaths you're going to get for absolutely no fucking reason at all.
You know, I hear that, like I was saying earlier to Steve, like every week, somebody's threatening somebody's life. I'm going to find you, I'm going to come get you. Just because one person had a good day and one person had a bad day, one person's a newer gamer and sucks and the other person's been playing a long time. Like, who cares? Like you said, it's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. It's not worth all the, these people like take it so seriously. Rage quit. I'm going to kill you. They'll start stalking people on like, oh, it's crazy. It's like they get really mad over these things, and it's like it's a game.
Well, there's just, of course, the individual circumstances for every one of these events that should not happen. They all have huge impact, but I mean, I guess it's just my tendency to just kind of look at it in general, and you think about it, and it's like, yeah, that's okay now. You can do that. You can just tell people you're going to kill them. Nobody really cares. Nothing's going to happen. Unless it's somebody famous. That's a different story. But, it's just, that's the attitude of people, and I'm just going to stick to that shit. That psychological shit. When people just don't give a fuck, there is no bottom anymore.
So that's the problem. It's just society has lost its way, I guess. I mean, but it's just so ridiculous, man. The racism on them, too. When I hear them go into video games, but it's like, man, the swastikas, the Nazi symbols, I'm talking about things people make for their accounts and put them on them. I'm not saying what the games already have in them. Yep. It's insane. It's just insane, man. It makes me sick some days. Just like, what's wrong with these people, man? But yeah, and then so you know what? Let's skip 2 subjects I think down. I'm trying to get the list up right now. Since we're on the police and we're on all this same stuff, they also last week, hang on, I'm trying to find it. Cameron Prescott, a 6-year-old, was murdered by police. He's the youngest person this year to be murdered by police, and I think we touched on it. What was it, last week? Or maybe it was last week we touched on it. But yeah, it's outrageous. They don't care. You can be a child, you can be a grown person. Obviously, the odds are higher the less white you are. But it is getting to the point where it's just them and us. Like, we're the occupying force, you're the insurgents. Some insurgents should be treated more brutally than others. That's where it seems like it's heading, at least in this country. Maybe it's not even heading. Maybe it's been here for quite a while. I don't know. But, I mean, obviously it can get worse, but it's pretty dang bad right now.
It's there. I mean, and I'm a martial artist, and so, I cross paths with people in law enforcement, because martial arts and law enforcement, you find there's definitely a connection there. I just completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. The thing here in Wichita is just it's got me rattled. I was kind of starting to feel like I wasn't in a community where I had to worry about that sort of thing. After it happened to me in St. Paul, and now I realize I still do have to worry about that sort of thing happening. So I'm a little rattled. I apologize.
If you're in a community with a police or sheriff department, you're in that kind of a community. From small to big city, it's just different levels of corruption and evil, sick stuff they do.
Well, I remember what I was going to say. And as I crossed paths with people in law enforcement, I've had some pleasant interactions, and I've also seen some people who have just like scared the shit out of me, but the like, so I get that there's people who don't in law enforcement who don't consciously look at us as insurgents, but I would say that with the culture going on in law enforcement right now, the overall culture, even those people, I think, are in danger of getting into that mindset when the heat is on, when they're in a very intense situation, when instinct just kicks in. If you're surrounded by that whole mentality, if there's this pervasive sense of us against them, and we got to keep the community in line in order to keep it safe. We got to keep people under our foot in order to keep them safe. It's going to come out in an intense situation. I mean, law enforcement needs to fix itself, its cultural problem. It really needs to do that, and it needs to do that today, because even the cops who aren't in that mindset consciously, I think they're probably in it subconsciously, because you just absorb your environment. You absorb the culture around you.
Yeah, and it's a horrible culture around them.
Oh, God, it really is, and if anybody out there is sitting there listening and going, oh, it's a bunch of cop haters sitting around bashing cops,
Damn right.
Have different ideas when it comes to police, but I've said it time and again. I've had pleasant interactions with people in law enforcement. I'm not close to anybody in law enforcement, obviously, but I don't hate cops. That's not where I'm coming from. This is not about hating cops. This is about just wanting to feel safe in my home and safe when I'm out walking around.
See, I've
That's where I'm coming from.
I've had less than horrible professional encounters with them, but I wouldn't say I've ever had pleasant.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, look where you live. I mean, fucking good. I mean, like, god damn, dude, I mean, you live in one of the worst police precincts in the country.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe we're in the top something, but we're not the worst. I mean, there's some that are way worse than here. I can't even imagine,
I was saying,
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I just said that, Anaheim's up there. They got a hell of a record the last few years.
Anaheim, California?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, there's a tangent. Holy shit.
Anaheim, that's close to Orange. That's where like all these white supremacists live, I think. Orange County, and I think Anaheim's close to there.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So yeah, that might make sense. Because you have more white supremacists, you're gonna have more white supremacists. I mean blatantly white supremacist cops.
Well, I mean, like Steve was saying about the environment, Yeah, but I mean, something I was talking to somebody else today about. I always tell people they should see the movie Thank You for Smoking, because it's all about the lobbying industry, and it's does it in a funny way. And there's a phrase in that movie that explains why everybody at every level of this system does what they do. It's called paying the mortgage. And even cops who do want things to be different, who do want more actual justice instead of law, if they do that openly, they may have a problem with their ability to pay their mortgage. I mean, this is the conspiracy of the system. If you want to belong, there's only so much you can do, and that's getting, it seems, narrower and narrower all the time. Look at the murder of that detective in Baltimore. What a stinky fucking deal that is.
That's insanity. It's so blatant and bold.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what kind of message does that send to the uniforms in Baltimore that are fed up? You know? I mean, it's just such an evil system.
Yeah,
and it's the only game in town.
Yeah, you better back your way up out of this or shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah, just send a distinct message. I mean, the guy gets shot, then they put him in the car and try to kill him in a car crash. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's, you know, and that's the whole thing. I mean, people say, well, where are all the good cops? Why aren't the good cops speaking up? Well, first of all, you're simplifying things by saying good cops, bad cops.
Yep.
But second off, you know, there you go. I mean, cops have been murdered for taking a stand against this shit. Cops, and you know, I mean, put aside the economic reality, you know, and your family is depending on you, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's the right way to be, but when you've got your family depending on you, and you've got a mortgage, and you've got a car payment, you need your job, especially in an economy like we have now. You know, and that's a reality before you factor in that you become a part of this community of people, and you're looking at ostracization, which is a very psychologically painful thing for anybody to go through. And then you have the very real threats to your safety and to your family's safety. You know, it's of course the cops who are more interested in justice than laws and who want to protect and serve aren't going to speak up. Most people, including people who think they should speak up, aren't going to speak up in that situation. I'm not saying it's right, but you know, it's the reality.
I wonder if a Blue Lives Matter sticker on your car will make them leave you alone.
I'm sure it helps.
Yeah, like they pull you over and you'd be like, look, put your gun away, go away, let me off, I support you. And that's rare nowadays. You better take all you can get, buddy. I wonder if people do it just for that reason. You know what I mean? Like, they don't say it like that, obviously, but I mean, it's kind of like an unspoken, yeah, like, I need the support because nobody likes us.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Tim, because some of this, you know, support for law enforcement, that's what it is. I mean, there are people people have different reasons for supporting law enforcement. Some actually believe in it, and you know, some and so on. But
you know, go ahead first, then I'll ask you a question.
But for some people, it's I think it is. It's bootlicking. It's sucking up. I don't want to get gunned down, so I'm going to put a Blue Lives Matter sticker on my car, and I'm going to make a big show of supporting the police. I mean, it's like any other gang, you know. There's people who make a big show of supporting whatever the fuck gang is in their neighborhood because they don't want to be on the wrong end of shit.
Yeah, they don't put it on their cars on bumper stickers. But it's like the old days. If you want to find a drug dealer or somebody rolling with drugs, look for the Dare to Say No stickers on the car. Pretty much guaranteed. But here's the question to both of you guys. So these guys who support cops 1,000% love them. Anything they do is right. What's the first thing they say when they see those lights come on in their mirror when they're getting pulled over?
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's not like, yeah, my guys are pulling me over. I'm gonna pay a fee to fund the department, and the city is gonna be awesome. They don't say that. That's the last thing they're saying.
Yeah,
It just blows my mind.
you know, it does blow my mind too, and it reeks of Stockholm syndrome because pretty much everybody has gotten, you know, a stupid ticket at a time when they really didn't need to be paying on a stupid ticket, you know, for something that wasn't really harming anybody. And, you know, yes, I realize in some situations police protect us, but in a lot of situations they make our lives difficult, you know, and they add to the pressure that we're living under in this society.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this many times long ago. The system's set up so if you're poor, it just eats you alive. Like, they give you a ticket. Say you get a $200, $300 ticket. That's life-altering and earth-shattering and devastating for some people.
Yeah, it is.
Well, other people, it's a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. Like, you know, if you're gonna fine people for everything and do this, then it should be a sliding scale according to their wages. Or something, you know what I mean? It's totally ridiculous. Because the same small ticket to some people who don't even show up and say that's no big deal, like literally takes food out of people's children's mouth, takes their transportation, it just destroys a life. It's crazy.
Better than a sliding scale.
Oh yeah, none at all. Obviously, I'm trying to say but within their stupid system right now, that's what they should at least do.
Yeah,
at the very least, like. People can only pay what they can afford, and then find some small, like 5% of their income or something, because it can't be above that.
And not to mention, if you're living below the poverty line and you have to go to court, take a day off from work to go to court to deal with this.
Oh yeah,
that can mean you not being able to pay rent and getting evicted. Like it really is a war on the poor, and probably a lot of cops don't think about that, you know, but that's what it is. They are pawns in a war on poor people.
Yeah, for some people it is a choice: keep my home or get a warrant.
Well, I mean, that's a definite factor right there, because these cops that are being forced to carry this out are being told, if you don't carry this out, you will be on the other end of this. You know?
Yep, you'll be in the unemployment line next, getting tickets that you can't afford.
And we'll come get you.
Right.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And I really hope people are listening today to this show, because we're really getting into how deep and ingrained and, you know, fucked up and complex the situation is. There's like it has dug roots into our society, into our neighborhoods, and you know, you can't just cut down the tree at this point and be done with it.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, it would be devastating, and it would take a lot of doing. But sometimes, I mean, the tree's rotting and it's killing us all. So something has to be done, and quick.
A new one will grow out of the roots.
Hey, we got our standard 2 listeners today, so we're doing awesome. Hey, we get them over the next month. People will say, "Hey, they did a show. Let's listen."
I know. I noticed that. Like nobody really tunes in live, but then like the shows wind up getting listened to a bunch.
Yeah.
Afterwards. So, and that's fine. You know.
We always want the one person who's going to do something to listen, whoever that person is. or people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, whatever. But that's funny. I always say, here's our 2 listeners, here's our 6 listeners. We're awesome. Anyway, speaking of a screwed up entire system that needs to be destroyed, what was our next topic? Had something to do with, let me see. 2 unnamed officials told New York Times that Trump said people coming from Haiti all have AIDS, and Nigerian immigrants would never go back to their huts after they came to the United States. And he referred to Afghanistan as a terrorist haven.
You know, my reaction is, oh, Donald Trump said some racist shit again. Okay.
But see, the thing is, it's constant and it's ongoing. He hates black
That's
people.
my
He
point.
hates Mexican people. He hates anyone who's not a white supremacist, basically, or ultra rich. And the lighter the skin of the ultra rich, the better to him. So it's just like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You have the leader now of the system, who not like the other ones, isn't trying to pretend he's a good guy. He's just like, you know what? I don't care what you think. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to spread my racist hate, and my base is going to keep getting worse and more violent and more terroristic, and we're infiltrating police and the whole system. There's this thing today where I don't know, I think Anti-Media had tweeted it out, had a picture of all the people at the White House giving a thumbs up and some jackass Nazi in the back throwing the white power symbol up. I mean, these are the same people that did nothing but talk about how terrible gangsters are, and the first thing they're doing is mimicking all kinds of things like gang signs and stuff. Like you taking from a culture you hated a few years back. So it's kind of odd to me how you do this. I guess, but that's what these people do. White supremacists want to occupy everything and take everything for their own, and profit off everything, steal everything, until it's just nothing but them and their white crap that they've stolen from every other culture and called it their own. Yeah, but I mean, it goes all the way to the top. So I mean, can you really blame anyone that's racist? Oh, the president's racist. The whole White House pretty much is racist. It just seems like it's a small cult, and it's kind of a fad for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm in California, in LA, and it's like I'm seeing more and more. I'm noticing them. I noticed one today that said "Big League Trump supporter" on the back of a car, and "Blue Lives Matter." I'm seeing a lot more. It's like these people are coming out of the woodworks or something, and it's scary because they're so fascist, so racist, so hateful, so bigoted, but they think they're great patriotic citizens.
Yeah.
Well, again, you touched on it. Read the 14 points of fascism. Like, we've seen this movie before, but as far as the enabling of it, the explosion in the visible signs that it has some sort of support, these people all are weak. That's why they're going this route. I mean, how scared are these people every day of their lives to latch on to something that is, in some cases, Nazi behavior? How scared, how scared are they? And how did they get that scared? But, that's asking too much.
Because
go ahead.
They believe the hype. I mean, but this isn't just a Trump thing. It's always been fear. They're going to blow us up. They're going to kill us. They're going to do this. It's always some kind of giant threat, and you have to fear it, and your government will keep you safe. But I was wondering when you said that. I mean, I know it's a minority, but it's just they're becoming really bold. Like You
Well,
know, like the
no.
bumper
Yeah.
stickers and stuff. It's just really
No, no.
crazy.
No, let me lay this on you. I saw a tweet the other day. I can't even remember who made it, but it was fucking great. And it said, America is now waking up to the same reality that Germany once did. 1/3 of your people want to kill 1/3 of your people, while 1/3 of your people watch.
Oh,
Wow.
man, that's really, wow. Because that is correct.
Yeah.
That's, I just figured, holy fuck, that's prophetic.
That's what it is, though. I guess genocide needs to be a spectator sport to work, right?
Well, I mean, I think that's it, I mean, you look at Weimar Germany, and there were just so many people that just decided, this really fucking sucks, and we don't know what we can do about it.
Yeah, like, who am I to say anything kind of crap?
Well, it's just that they were in the same condition that tens of millions of Americans now find themselves in. They have no fucking ladder to get out. The ladder's gone.
Yeah,
They're getting deeper just trying to survive. Never mind get ahead.
it wasn't it last week Trump was at Mar-a-Lago with all these billionaires and ultra wealthy people. Said, you guys are about to get a whole lot richer. And when he said that, it also means we guys over here are about to get, well, not you, Glenn, but
Yep.
people in this country are about to get a whole lot poorer. So it's insane, and everyone just sits back and takes it. I've seen news media making a joke about it, like it's funny.
I've been seeing some analyses of the tax cuts, and at first it does look good because we are actually getting tax cuts, and they're not bad tax cuts. Us on this end of things, but what people don't realize is if you go beyond the tax cuts, a lot of things that we were able to deduct aren't there anymore. So in the end, we wind up, even though we get a tax cut, life becomes more expensive and we lose out.
Yeah, the tax cuts are small.
They are.
And
Oh, it's like
they're for a limited time on our end, on the non-rich people's end, and they're wiping out so many services and different things people need to support these tax cuts. It's just ridiculous. I think.
Yeah.
What did he? You know what? I looked here just before we started. He said something insane. Let me look it up right now. Had to do with the post office. This is like today's news. I'm looking right now. Real Donald. He tweeted this. A trip on this. This was 7 hours ago. The idiot tweeted this. Why is the United States Post Office, which is losing many billions of dollars a year while charging Amazon and others so little to deliver their packages, making Amazon richer and the post office dumber and poorer, should be charging much more?
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, does he realize that poor people use the post office? Should be charging much more. He's insane. We didn't all inherit $200 billion, man. He doesn't get that.
Exactly. And if you didn't, there's something wrong with you. I mean, this is economic fascism.
So I meant 200 million. I know. I just realized I said billion, and people are like, "What?" Oh man. Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, there's a certain amount of mythology-based thought that's in any fascist demagogue. You have to create an illusion that they got to where they are because they're such a unique occurrence. You know, there's just nobody like them. Well, you know, that's bullshit in reality, but I mean, it's a big part of the sale. So, I mean, Trump is going to stick to what Trump wants to be known as. And he will look at the U.S. Postal Service as a corporation, not as a service provided by the federal government. You know, it's just ass backwards.
How is this not a libertarian's fantasy? Corporations just basically running the government, running amok all over.
Well, I think the reason we're seeing or hearing from a lot fewer libertarians is because 2/3 of the people who claim to be libertarian, say a couple years ago, were just right-wingers posing as libertarians.
Yeah, I think a lot of those teabaggers turned libertarian, and then they went to the Nazi party, the alt-right, right?
Yeah, now they're Trumpers.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. You know, the thing about libertarianism is they're coming from this place of that the reason we have these powerful corporations raping the people is because the government stacks the deck in favor of them. If you get the government and regulations out of there and let the free market go, then that advantage will be taken away from these big corporations. Now, I'm not here to say whether that's, you know, correct or not, but I'm saying that's where they're coming from. They're not sitting there going, oh, hell yeah, corporations, rape the people. Hell yeah. They really honestly believe that, you know, if you get the government out of the picture, we would have more than one option for our cable services in our area and stuff like that.
I mean, the corporations are the ones trying to get the monopoly to own all of everything. So, I mean, historically, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you know, and I go back and forth on this with my libertarian friends because there's a lot of things about the libertarian idea that I really like. But when it comes to this whole matter of corporations, I mean, it doesn't add up for me. It doesn't add up to the people will be empowered and corporations will have to play fair. You know, I mean, I think it's one of them things that looks good on paper. You know, when Ron Paul was around, I was like, okay, well, if this is what America wants to try, let's see how it works out, you know, but I'm not convinced. I would love to be convinced because I like a lot of things about that ideal, but, you know.
I just see it as switching one government out for another one.
That's what I think would happen, too, you know.
A stupid wannabe pretend democratic government out for a corporate government. It's neither way is good for me.
Yeah.
Well,
we're on tangents again, obviously, but it's still kind of related because
it is related, and you know, everything we're talking about today has some real substance to it. So, fuck it, let's just go with it.
well, I just want to say that one of the favorite quote-unquote trolls from libertarians is that socialism is a fantasy, communism is a fantasy. Well, libertarianism is a fantasy as well. And why? Because it involves people. And just like you said, Steve, you know, how the fuck can you expect the people that exist in this world to have the understanding and the ethics for libertarianism to work the way it's envisioned? It's just impossible. It'll never happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well,
go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I forgot. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're all even socialism, communism, libertarianism, conservatism, corporatism, all those terrible isms are terrible because you have these people that are in charge of other people, and usually the people in charge aren't the same class as the other people, so they don't care about the other people. That's the problem in my mind. You need the people that are in charge of the resources or whatever have to be totally transparent and have to be 100%, have to be able to answer 100% to the other people. That's the problem. You have corruption, and it just ruins everything. Something like socialism probably could work if it wasn't for the corruption in the government that runs it.
Right.
But that's right back to my point,
Yeah,
man.
that's what I was just saying. That's true. But yeah, all these things.
People will never advance because of people.
We're such silly monkeys, man. So here's something. The Trumpkins are claiming Trump is already beating ISIS. Have you guys seen that? They're just saying he's almost beat him or he's beat him. I've heard that all over. Even not sure if it was the official White House or one of these Fox News polls or something listed that as one of his accomplishments was having beaten ISIS already.
Yeah, I haven't really seen any. I haven't really seen any U.S. soldiers over there engaging ISIS. So I'm gonna call bullshit on that one.
Well, so here's the thing. Let's say this is the case. Let's say we're going to believe Trump and his people 200%. If that's the case, then I think, don't you, that they should drop the Muslim ban and put the white supremacist terrorists, who are mostly his base, back on the terrorist watch list? Because ISIS is no longer a problem. Why are we worried about immigrants?
Yeah. Wow, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't understand where the logic is. Why are we still having Muslim bans and still watching these people, and the same people who are doing that said Trump beat ISIS?
Yeah, because we have kind of an epidemic going on right now of white nationalist and extreme right-wing Christian terrorists doing attacks and attempting to do attacks in the city, you know, or in the country here, carry stuff out. So I know last year two bomb attacks,
Or plots,
terror attacks,
Yeah.
were thwarted in my backyard here in Kansas.
Yeah, and that wasn't even on the news. It was like a brief little blur. Let that have been a Muslim dude that did that. You would have still been hearing about it today.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Another one went and shot up a school, and they didn't really talk about it.
And, you know, of course, trolls who hear this, or right-wing trolls who hear this, are going to be like, oh, you just love Muslims and hate Christians, the derp, 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 derp. And no, that's not it at all. We hate people who commit acts of violence against innocent people, and the numbers show that we have just as big of a problem with that, if not a much bigger problem, with white supremacists and right-wing Christians right now as Muslims, and we want them all shut down.
Yeah, I rattled off those stats quite a while back. There's a lot more attacks by white supremacists, and this was when we went over that. It was before the Las Vegas shooting. So the Pulse nightclub knocked the non-white one all the way up at the time, but now I'm pretty sure it's back above as far as body counts. And I know the attacks were like double or something, but the body counts were lower because of the Pulse nightclub was one attack that had a lot, but now they said hold our beer, and they went and did the Vegas attack. So, yeah, it's horrifying and it's terrible. And what's even more horrifying is these people aren't on a terrorist watch list. They are the base and the people that the President of the United States calls very fine people. They're his voters, they're his supporters, and he loves them back. Well, as much as he could love anybody, and there are terrorists walking amongst these people.
They're left alone to carry out their plans a lot of the times. I mean, yes, the FBI foiled the 2 terrorists here, but in a lot of these cases, you see these people are just left alone so they can carry it out. You know, the reason why the body count from white supremacists and right-wing terrorists is higher than the body count from Muslim terrorists in the U.S. is because they don't get watched as much.
Well, again, there are definite similarities there to Weimar Germany, but Steve, when you said earlier you're not seeing U.S. troops on the ground fighting ISIS, well, that's just it. You're not seeing them. They are there. Syria, Russia, and Turkey have now all told U.S. ground forces to get the fuck out of Syria. We'll see what happens there. But as far as this narrative of Trump defeating ISIS, this is exactly like W's mission accomplished banner on the aircraft carrier.
With the full jacket.
Yep.
You're
exactly
right.
the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah, like, who do they do that for? It's like everybody knows. It's like the biggest joke. I mean, they must just do it for Fox News. There was a report, some people from Fox News were saying, and these are right-wing people, that they are becoming disgruntled because Fox News is starting to be less about right-wing Republican stuff and more about Trump's little, it's going full out just for Trump. And a lot of Republicans aren't supporting Trump anymore, which is Trump has his own brand of supporters now, evidently.
So what's going to happen when Disney owns Fox?
Are they trying to buy Fox?
Yeah, wasn't that the merger?
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I haven't been following. Disney bought up everything, ruined it.
Well, Fox is going to be sold off.
Wow.
Wow. Well, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
It'll probably be run under the same people the same way for a while anyway. Either way, that's how they usually do things. And then they'll transfer at a certain time, and I don't know what they'll do after that. But
well, all I'm saying is that the clock might be ticking. So, I mean, hang on. Things may accelerate a lot fucking faster yet.
You think they just shut down Fox News? I don't think so.
Oh, no. I'm saying if there's going to be a change in ownership that is going to result in a change of direction.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
If the clock's ticking.
Yeah, I just know some people, there was a report out that some people that worked at Fox were disgruntled about that because, well, they are Republicans. They didn't support Trump, evidently, or they don't support him now, and Fox News is pretty much like, we got to support this guy. So yeah, that's, I don't know.
Cool.
It's ridiculous. We got Nazis from the top to the bottom in this country.
Yeah. Well, the Republican Party and conservatism in general has just lost its fucking mind. I mean, I don't sit on the liberal side of the fence or the conservative side of the fence, but as a spectator I'm watching, and you've always been able to find examples of complete idiocy on both sides, but like right now with conservatism, you've got, the Tea Party, and you've got these militias that aren't racist. They just happen to show up at protests where Nazis are and stand with the Nazis, and but they're not racist.
Yeah, I hear that so many times.
You have the alt-right, you have Nazis, you have the manosphere, that whole thing, and flat earthers. this anti-science thing and the flat Earth movement growing over there and stuff, and it's too much. It's fucking ridiculous, and I think this has something to do with why the Democrats, they were all about impeachment, and they've really stopped with that. In fact, the last time, I heard Pelosi and someone else they voted not to introduce articles of impeachment.
I think yesterday or the day before, a bunch of them just reunited to do it again, supposedly.
Did they?
Yeah, they're going to keep doing. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, some aren't backing it now. Some Democrats, and I think the reason why is because they see the writing on the wall. Right now, last I checked, 21 congressmen are not planning on running in the next election. They're done. They're quitting. 21 Republicans, yeah. Congressmen. Yeah, they're Republicans. And I think it's because they know they're not going to win, so they're not really trying. And I think there is Trump is destroying the party. He is destroying the credibility of the Republican Party. He is destroying, if it ever had any integrity, it has absolutely none now, as we've seen with the support for Roy Moore. And so I think people are starting to realize, just let Trump go. Like, don't let him get impeached right now. Let him stay in there, because he will be the death of the Republican Party, and it needs to die.
You know what no one's saying, I don't think, or I haven't heard it at least, is like we just talked about a few minutes ago. He went in and said to the ultra richest of the rich, you guys are about to get a lot richer. Well, ultra rich people, when I think of who they might be, I would think Congress might be a lot of them. Democrats and Republicans are going to get a lot richer off of his tax breaks. So that might give him more of a incentive to not really do anything besides just talk about some stuff, because a lot of these Democrats are going to benefit off this just as much as the Republicans, because of all the money in politics just getting fed to them to screw us over on both sides of the thing. And then these idiot people, I'm sorry, people of the United States, but many of you are stupid. And what's going to happen is, eventually, in either 3 more years or 7 more years, Trump and Pence or whoever's in there at the time, with whatever goes down, will be gone, and they'll see this Democrat coming in as their savior. And this person might smile more and not be so blatantly fascist and hateful, but I guarantee you the policy stuff will keep going through. They might change some things here and there, little things people want, but the white supremacist agenda, the corporate takeover of the country, is going to keep pushing forward under either one. And that's what scares me.
I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think another issue here is, I think there's an awful lot of shit going on out of public view about what to do with the Mueller investigation. So I think that some Democrats in the House, especially ones on the House Intelligence Committee and the Judiciary Committee, they may think, why the fuck should we go through all this when Mueller gets a little further along? He'll do it for us. I think that's a possibility. And if Trump removes Mueller before he can finish, then we're going to have a real full-blown crisis.
That's the thing. He can remove Mueller. He can pardon everybody he wants. He can pardon Flynn right now.
But then he would be Ferdinand Marcos.
Do you think he really cares? All he cares about, can I get away with it?
Well,
And
he
so
can.
far, who's going to stop him? What have we stopped so far, man? We let these people do whatever they want. I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about a guy going into illegal wars. I'm talking about a guy droning people. I'm talking about two guys, I think now three maybe, signing the Patriot Act and the NDAA. And
Yeah.
I'm talking about a guy taking the internet from us. They don't
That's-
do anything but talk, man.
But this is different. This would be a coup by preventing a lawful secession of power and a lawful removal of power. So that would be a first in the United States. I mean, they've certainly assisted that happening numerous other places.
It would be a first, but I'm not so sure. I mean, do you really think the Army's going to step in and or the police are going to walk in and arrest the president and all his people out the White House if that did happen? I don't think so.
No, I think it'll go down very similar to how Watergate went down.
He's going to end up resigning.
Yep.
I'm just saying, if people don't, okay, that was a different time.
And I
It
can
was a
see
different. It was a different government too.
well, not really. I mean, all the fucking rules were there then too.
Yeah, but we didn't have the internet, and a lot more people believed that they were righteous than do now.
Well, I mean, conditions change, but the tools are the same. They've just been, accelerated somewhat. But I can see Pence leaving first, and he'll probably get a pardon. And then there's only one person left to blame, and it won't take long. It'll be whoever he names to replace Pence. That's who's going to be the president when the next election comes.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Because what I'm seeing, these people are testing us and have been for a long time. How far can we go? What can we get away with? Then they hand it over to the next guy who goes a little further.
Yeah, but sooner or later, somebody's got to pay. And the one who floored the gas pedal might as well be the one to get in the accident.
I hope you're right. Or else we're going to just have a blatant dictator. And after that, we're going to have blatant dictator Junior or Ivanka. It'll go down the line until Barron, the dictator.
But look at the way they crippled Saddam economically first.
Yeah.
And that can happen to the United States.
It's going to happen. I mean,
Well,
it's on its way.
Even that it's possible, that's never happened before. It is now.
Yeah. Yeah, things are changing really fast and really badly.
And it's bad. We can't change. We can't change so much we're going to take it back 60 years, God damn it.
Does it seem to you guys like we just say the same thing on these shows a lot? Like, when we say something, it's like, didn't I say this 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago? Or somebody else said this morning? I mean, it's like, wake up, people. Get in the streets. We need to play that, what is it? What was that, Twisted Sister? Or we're not going to take it. Yeah, that people need to think like that.
That's Twisted Sister.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to take it, but so far the people have been like, give us some more. We can take some more. It's tragic. So yeah, we're over an hour mark right now. So I guess the next thing we were doing was we were going to just kind of talk about what we think is going to happen as far as the world, on the world stage, to us the people and to the governments and stuff in 2018. Not like Nostradamus or anything like that, just kind of logical conclusions from what we're witnessing.
I think we are
Screwed.
goddamn close to nuclear war. I think that's probably going to happen.
You think nuclear war is going to happen in 2018?
I won't say for sure, but if I were a betting man, I would bet on nuclear war before I bet against nuclear war.
Well, that's a logical position to have, because you could come to me then and say, "Hey Tim, I'll bet you $10 million that we're gonna die in a nuclear war."
How are you going to collect?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. No, I'm watching the shit with Trump and Kim Jong Un, and I'm watching, Korea's accelerated development of nukes. I'm watching Trump do absolutely nothing to slow that situation down. And we're looking at China, and we're looking at, and now you've got all these Middle East countries that have nukes are pretty riled up over the whole thing with, declaring Jerusalem the capital of Israel. Yeah. I mean, it just looks to me like that's where it's headed.
Yeah, it's not headed in a good place. That's obvious.
Oh.
I don't know. I didn't. That wasn't in my thoughts as a full-scale nuclear war. I mean, it wasn't outside of anything I thought might be possible, but I didn't think it would be probable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying enough nuclear war to destroy the world, but I'm saying I will actually be surprised if we hit 2019 and there hasn't been nuclear attacks on parts of countries, at the very least.
Well, if you attack North Korea, South Korea will be gone. Parts of Japan might be gone.
Which I would not be happy about at all, because you know me and my samurai martial arts, I love Japan.
Well, I mean, there's people there living beside the martial arts. But I think that's a big step. Like things will never be the same after that, especially now. I mean, we have these reality TV leaders. Why not just have like a Ninja Warrior thing with Trump and Kim Jong Un and Putin, whoever wants to participate, and then the winner has the bragging rights on Twitter, and the other ones get booted or something. That seems like the way to go, rather than nuclear war.
Oh yeah, we just need to put them in a ring and let them fight to the death.
Oh, that would be beautiful. I was trying to be more peaceful about it, because they don't usually kill people on reality TV, but maybe they'll start. I don't know.
Pay-per-view.
Let them all just live in a house together.
Oh man, that would be.
Oh, wait a minute.
That would be a reality TV show.
So Nolan Hack, who's sick today. Hope you get better, Nolan. We're all. We care about you.
Miss you, Nolan.
That's why he's not here. He said he wanted us to mention they're trying to turn the site of Wounded Knee Massacre into a tourist attraction. He sent a link. Can anyone get it out of our chat?
Let me take a look. Let's see. We're
working on it, Nolan. Give us a second.
They want to turn it into a tourist attraction. Well, my first thought would be, what kind of tourist attraction? A tourist attraction about Wounded Knee, or casinos and, it's the Trump administration. Do I have to ask?
Are you reading it, or are you just telling us this?
No, I'm just pulling it up right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to
grab it on my phone. Go ahead, Glenn.
It's something to be monetized at the expense of those that we can take advantage of, and it's cultural expropriation, so it's an angle. It comes with a built-in angle. This is just a corporate agenda. Nothing else, As far as the North Korea thing goes, guys, there's only one rules of engagement set. It doesn't matter what type of war you're talking about, and that's already been laid out by China. So, that's something that Trump never wants to talk about, and he never gets asked about. But it's clear. If North Korea attacks somebody first, have at her. We're not going to do shit. We're just going to barricade our borders. But if you attack North Korea first, we will defend North Korea. And since then, Russia has said, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea. So that's why I don't think, if there's any sort of nuclear detonation in hostility, it's going to be human error that causes it. Nobody's going to be trying to start it.
Or primary psychopathy. Some of our world leaders are severely unbalanced.
Now, if those are the conditions that the Pentagon understand, I can't see them obeying an order that would go beyond any sort of practical necessity.
Well, true. However, I think what's going to happen is Trump's just going to keep rattling sabers until North Korea launches something at us.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. They know it's an immediate incineration. I mean, that's the thing that not a lot of Americans are aware of either, but the method of war that the United States used on North Korea at the beginning of the 50s is still like current school history in North Korea. And it's not because they're dogmatic, but because the United States basically firebombed most of North Korea.
Well, yeah, bombed it till there was nothing left, and then bombed it some more.
Yeah, and let it burn. Yeah. So, I mean, they're kind of holding a grudge, and there's never been a peace treaty. So, I mean, there's two sides to every story.
There is, and I mean, I'm the first to admit, yes, Kim Jong-un is a psychopath, but, after what happened, like if North Korea was my country, I would be doing the exact same things he's doing. I would be trying to get nuclear weapons. I would be trying to make myself safe from the country that did that to my country and still flies nuclear weapons, flies bombers equipped with nuclear weapons on my border.
Yep.
His actions there as far as building up an arsenal is not psychopathic. That's pretty logical given the situation. Pretty logical and pretty rational. It's the stance he's taking is very psychopathic.
Yeah, I just think like, nobody should have nuclear weapons. They should just get rid of them with everybody, even the big people, even Israel, even the United States, even Russia. I know it's like guns here now. You can't get rid of them all because everybody has them and they're all over the place, but it's so ridiculous. We say these people can have it because they're occupying dark people, and these people can't because they are dark people. That's basically what it boils down to. Or they're not big enough to say, oh, we have them and you can't do anything about it.
Well, I mean, that's my whole premise. I don't think that any nuclear power has the right to tell any other nation they can't become one.
Exactly, that's sheer hypocrisy.
It's just flat out authoritarianism, You can't have your own because we'll use ours on you. Well, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Okay, so look, I got this article here on my phone. It's this is what Nolan Hack just sent. LakotaCountryTimes.com. So basically, this guy Tim, nice first name, Giago, he's trying to build. Hang on, I'm skimming through this right now. He's trying to build some kind of tourist development with a campground, hotel, a store, museum, stuff like that. Some kind of big monument to the massacre, and he wants to do it on the location of the 1890 Wounded Knee massacre. So I guess some lady named L'Oreal Blackshaw. I'm sorry if I'm screwing up people's names. I'm reading this on a phone. It's really small. She's a spokesperson for the society. Her statement is, Tim Giago is coming into the picture with plans for a sacred site, for our sacred grounds, explained Blackshaw, to develop it into a tourist attraction. According to the last video I saw, he wants to build a campground, a hotel, a store, a museum, which is all fine and great, but not at Wounded Knee Massacre site, not where our relatives and ancestors' blood has been shed and sanctified ground. Blackshaw noted that as far as she's concerned, the society and Tim Giago are on two completely different parallels of what respect is. He's claiming that he's honoring the site to do that. We've heard this before. I'm sure if Nolan was on here, we've heard this many times. It's about honoring and respecting, or showing people that you were here. They tell the natives, and the natives are still here.
It's respecting them by appropriating their culture for profit.
Exactly. So that's a disgusting thing that's going on, and I hope he fails miserably.
Shit.
And if you're listening, Nolan, we can definitely, whenever you feel better and want to come back on and talk about it, you can always do that. Anytime, just add it as a subject. So hope you feel better again, and hope we didn't botch it up too much, or I didn't with the names and everything. But this Nolan has now upset me now twice, because he's taken my title. He last time he did a tangent about a tangent, so that was like something. Now he sent a tangent via chat. That's never been done before.
A remote tangent execution. That's an exploit.
Wow. You're making history, Nolan. People's Radio history.
Yeah, remote_tangent.exe.
Wow. That's funny. Well, so what were we? Predictions. We pretty much predicted there will or won't be a nuclear war in 2018. So you heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
check the sports books.
After you've been vaporized by a nuke, you can say, "Oh yeah, People's Radio called this one."
And if you didn't, you can say, and if it never happens in 2018, you can say, People's Radio called this one. Win-win.
I know. We got our bases covered here.
We have both clips ready. We have one for the post-apocalyptic world, and we have one for if it doesn't happen.
Awesome.
I don't know why I felt the need to put the one for the post-apocalyptic world onto a cassette tape. So
in a lead box.
In a lead box.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of predictions to make. Fuck, I'm scared to.
I'm scared to. Sorry.
Who could have predicted 2017? That much.
Yeah.
In 1 year. Wow.
Definitely. Last year was an insane year.
And the band played on.
Yeah, I don't know why you're complaining. You're in Canada. You're safe still. It'll take a while to get to you. We're in the thick of it.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference between being in the brawl on the dance floor and sitting on the first level up still drinking your beer. That's the only difference. Because we know we're going to get hit with a chair or a bottle anytime now. You know.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, it's insane. We have a total moron running the country. The dude doesn't care about anyone but himself, and I hope they get rid of him. But I am becoming more doubtful. So I guess we'll see. So yeah, I guess we're close. Does anyone else got anything they want to add before we wrap it? Do we miss anything?
Well, we always miss something.
Yeah, there's always something we missed because there's news happening probably right now. Yeah, just this is what a real news show sounds like. I couldn't say it. Yeah, I couldn't say it with a straight face. I tried. Yeah, that's the number one trending on my phone, right? Oh no, it's not number one. It's just the top trend on Twitter. Is the police kill innocent man after swatting prank leads him on a false raid.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess what we got out of today's show is do not call the police if you feel there's any other way to solve the situation. If somebody's threatening suicide or having a nervous breakdown or having an episode, or if you're just mad at him and want to send a SWAT team, don't do it. It's ridiculous, and it could end up in somebody dying. And it could end up in somebody you care about a lot dying, because what you're doing is you're saying there's a situation that probably doesn't warrant guns, and we're going to have guys with guns come to the situation. It's never... And trigger-happy people with guns who seem to be scared of everything, even their own shadow. Especially if somebody's threatening and holding a knife or something, they will come and they will kill them, because in this country, a knife or a gun is the same thing. This isn't the UK, this isn't Canada, this isn't any other country where they say, oh, the guy has a knife. Let's take him down and arrest him because it's just a knife. Here they say, the guy has a knife 20 feet away. Let's unload every bullet out of all our clips into him until he's not moving, then go put our knee into our back and cuff him. That's the country you're in. Do not call the police. Please save a life.
They've done that over a cell phone, never mind a knife.
Yeah. They've done it over absolutely nothing. Or an ID.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't matter. Just it's best to avoid bringing police into a situation if it can at all be helped. I mean, I know there's sometimes that people will say they can't, they had to or whatever. That's on you, but try to save a life and don't call the police. Anything else, guys, or you want me to go ahead and hit the off button or stop button?
Well, all I'll say is this is in the land of the free and the home of the brave, or so I've been told.
Oh, what we do need to say is Happy New Year to the people, because we won't be back until after the New Year next week. Yeah, we won't be on until next year, so.
Oh, yeah, it's the end of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, just realize that. That's
Not soon enough.
That's how much holidays mean to me. I forget them until I think about them.
Not soon enough.
Cool. All right. So, thanks you guys as always, and we'll see the listeners next week. All 2 or 3 of you now.
Right.
And have a happy new year. We're outro.